What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over how to make a woman submit to you through text. This is going to be a demonstration of my own text game that I use on Tinder when I met a girl on there, and it's just so I can kind of gauge what level of submission is she down for before I meet her. Because if you're a man, I believe most guys are afraid to be more masculine or dominant when meeting a female up front. So I'm going to show you here some things from her profile and from our first interactions, and I'm going to show you why I chose to take a very dominant approach and how I spoke to her and why it led to good results in the end. Now, this isn't something that you may want to do with every single woman you meet, but if you are having trouble with success with women, you do have to eventually build up this level of confidence to be able to do this, because there are a lot of women that you would not guess are expecting you to have more of this type of energy. Maybe not right out of the box, but eventually this is what a lot of women want. So that's how I know what to do in this situation. That's why I do risky. My game's a little bit risky up front because I like to test and see, is she going to allow me to be able to dominate her? Is she going to be playful with it as well? Because then you know if you have a woman that really is interested in you if she plays along. So let's get into our text messages. Right off the back, you're going to see that I did not start with a great opener or one-liner. Sometimes you don't have to. There are times where you just need to be direct. There are times where you can come off with a joke. But in this one, because her profile didn't show what city she was in, this was the first thing I started off with. I just said, "What city are you in?" No pizzazz on that at all. No riz. She responded back. And that's because for me, if you're not in a city that's close to me or you're not in my city, it doesn't matter if I match with you or whatever, I'm not going to proceed. So she matches, she tells me where she's at. Everything's cool. So then I hit her with my actual opener there. I tell her where I'm at. I hit her with my opener. This opener works really well on a lot of women, especially on Tinder. It actually works in person too. I noticed it works with really attractive women as well, because instead of telling them that they're pretty or beautiful, you could substitute pretty or beautiful or good looking to just put the word trouble there instead. It will set up a mood where you could probably become more playful from the beginning. So that's what I was doing. I said, "I'm here, you look like trouble." I'm setting it up to see if she's going to be playing along with me, because women want to be playful. They really want to talk in fantasy with you. They don't want to talk like in real world, very serious terms. They want to be playful. So I hit her with, you look like trouble. And I'm going to show you her profile, some of the stuff on her profile, to let me know that this was probably a good start as an opener for her. All right, so we can see in her profile, she's mentioning being a brat. And anytime a woman mentions being a brat and they're wearing it on their sleeve, most guys say, "Well, I don't want to put up with that." Initially, that is true. But if you're trying to build up your experience and build up your level of masculine dominance, you got to be willing to want to dominate any type of woman, because that's really all of them are looking for, is what man is able to tame me even though I am a brat. So she gave me the invitation by putting that she's a brat on there. Then I know I am playing the role of brat tamer the entire time. So guys have to learn how to pick up on some of that, because sometimes we think, oh, the woman says I'm difficult. She just means if she challenges you, are you strong enough to beat her in like a mental back and forth, not physical, but like emotional, sexual, everything. Are you strong enough to get past those little small tests that she's going to give you? Because every woman is actually going to give you tests anyway. They just need to see, are you the masculine type enough to have her? And so you always want to rise up to the challenge. If you are somewhat interested in that woman, is be okay with the challenge. So I said, brat, perfect. I'm going to tame the brat. Then I saw that she's like cursing in her profile, things that shows that she's probably maybe someone who's a little bit more aggressive, offensive to most people. So she probably thinks that no one can really handle her. I mean, she could possibly be right, but this is something that I said I'll step up to the challenge. And no, she may not be a type of woman that most guys will want a real serious long-term relationship with, but that is not the reason that I'm talking to her in this situation. I'm just having some fun and I'm just dating. Now, as we're looking through the messages, you can see that I was absolutely right about her. I say you look like trouble, and surprisingly, she doesn't even deny it. Sometimes women kind of play innocent and kind of deny it or ask, why do I think that? But she just straight up went in, she dove in with it. So I knew that I can go in a lot more aggressive and strong with her, because if you have a woman that's like this, that acknowledges their trouble or whatever, then you can actually just be more masculine and dominant with them, because they kind of are looking for it. That's the whole point. They are actually looking for it without saying it, and sometimes without even knowing it consciously. So what I did here is ask her to tell me more, because I'm trying to challenge her to come up with something to say to me, because some guys get too caught up in trying to carry the conversation and say something interesting at all times, or they think they're going to lose the woman. But in this situation, I knew that I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to see, get her to say something else that she thinks I want to hear, or just let her talk and see what she says. So I say, tell me more. And then she tells me about something about petty crime and causing people headaches. Yes, these are initial red flags. I'm not going to ignore that, guys. These are initial red flags if you're looking for a very long-term serious relationship. So I am taking notes when I see that. But however, I'm proceeding with the game, because this is just building up experience to prove to you that there are still women that like this type of dominant, playful nature. So instead of judging her or asking questions about this and turn into a realistic, down-to-earth conversation, I played along off of what she said. You see, I said, great, this means I'm going to need the handcuffs for you. That's because she obviously mentioned being a criminal. So I'm just playing off of the fact criminals usually are in handcuffs. And I knew that if she played along with the fact that I was talking about putting her in handcuffs, that means she is submitting to me just through text without even meeting me. And it shows that she's in that mindset where she wants me to dominate her. She wants me to put her in handcuffs. I know some of you guys probably haven't experienced this level of game yet, depending on, like, I got a younger crowd that are trying to learn, and you really got to have confidence and try some things. You don't try with every woman. You got to make sure you be careful not to come off as a creep. But that's why I'm showing you some of the signs here that let you know this is how you get practice to do this. All right. And she agreed. She was like, oh yeah, you're going to need the cuss, and then you're going to need duct tape. This let me know that she might be an amateur, in my opinion, when it comes to submissive play, because I would not use duct tape. There's many other things I could do that would be a little bit more comfortable. But I also saw it as maybe she wants it to be a little bit more rough because she wants duct tape, which we know that can be quite painful if that's all over your mouth. But you do meet some women that like things to be a little bit more painful voluntarily. So I go along with that as well. I just double down on it. And also I kind of I went a little bit further sexual, but you don't have to do that. You could just keep it kind of a little bit mysterious about what you're really talking about. But I did go a little bit more sexual, talking about her mouth and things like that. And then the last sentence, you see, I put on here, what else am I missing from the list? Because I'm still playing along with her. We're playing a back and forth game because women love fantasy. And I'm trying to get her to go a little bit deeper onto what else is she thinking about? What else would complete her perfect fantasy in her world? If I've got the handcuffs and tape, what else is she looking for? That's what I'm really asking for without going too straightforward into it. I'm asking her to give me the last thing. And so when you see this last thing, this means a lot too. This is pretty much just full submission here. If you have not dealt with BDSM or anything closely related, she says a safe word. A safe word means she needs me to come up with something that she can say in case we go a little too far and I know to pull it back, which means she's basically going to fully submit, but she just needs a safe word so that way she can get out of it if it becomes too much for her. And that is indication of full submission from a woman straight up through text. And this has worked out for me a few times before. I don't want to say how many times, but yeah, it's worked out a good bit, because you don't realize how many women have these thoughts in their heads, that they want things to play out this way, but they cannot find a man that is willing to do it and strong enough to do it, because we are playing really cautious with good reason. But if the woman's attracted to you, which I make sure they are most of the time on the apps, because I let them swipe on me first, and then I look through all the likes that I have, and I either accept their match, but I never swipe on women first to match with them. So that way I know they're at least interested. So this is just a sort of quick overview of how to get a woman to submit through you through text. And you could use this with a woman that you already know, but it may be harder if you haven't started, or if you've already known them for a good bit of time and you have been nothing like this the whole time, or you're in the friend zone. This probably won't work. And I'll also show in my next video a text message interaction where I use a different approach to game that's more down to earth, and show you how you could run that as well and still have a more dominant nature with that woman. And you'll see that those text messages go through smooth as well. So that way you can learn there are many different ways to communicate with women and get them on dates, or even when you're interacting with your own wife or girlfriend, you could actually you can implement these playful strategies in there, because that's really what they like. All right. So if you have questions on why I sent the messages a certain way and other things about this, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to address them. I'll see you in the next one.